Recently I've been making a mechanical eraser. Now there's this clutch on the mechanical eraser. This thing, I thought I knew the angle, but it turns out my lathe isn't set up right. It's giving me a weird angle. Now I was doing a little bit of trigonometry to figure out what my lathe was actually giving me. I'm getting a little bit of variability, so it indicates my lathe isn't quite working right yet. But somewhere around that 6.7 degrees, that's a big difference from the 14 degrees I thought it was. Now this discrepancy comes up from the taper attachment in my lathe. When I move the cutting bit left and right, the taper attachment moves the compound slide in and out. It turns out this isn't working quite the way I thought it was. It's not set up right, something's wrong. It's set to 14 degrees, but it turns out that really it's around that 6.7 degrees or something like that. I learned that when I used the compound slide to try to cut 14 degrees just like the taper attachment was, it wasn't the right thing. So there's a little bit of trigonometry has allowed me to figure out what the angle actually is. Here's a quick rundown of how I got those numbers. I moved the lathe over exactly 1 inch. That gave me a number on this dial showing how much my compound had moved in. That gives me 1 inch here and 0.117 inches here. Using SOHCAHTOA, tan of theta equals 0.117 over 1 inch, so theta equals 6.673 degrees. It's not quite that precise. Probably 6.7 degrees is as precise as I need. Anyways, that gives me the angle that I moved. That gives me the angle that it was cutting, and that means when I design this, I want that 6.7 degrees. Because the compound was changing a little bit, I did a few more tests depending on how the compound was moving. Gave me a few different numbers, but somewhere around that 6.7 degrees. Okay, and to remind you where that is, that's this angle on the clutch on the tip that this slides onto. So how these two components interact as they slide together makes a big difference on how this feels. That angle sets how much of a click this makes. The steeper the angle, the less the click. The shallower the angle, the stronger the click.